welcome to the post Cinco de Mayo after party. Woo! It's our what, third or fourth annual, Jason?
I think third.
It's our third annual, and we have honest and distinguished guests here from Mrs. Ruth Levinos in the back here, who's running for supervisor. And then we have...
Can you announce that lunch is served so that people can have their lunch while
have our guest here. She's one of our speakers. I believe it's Michelle Henderson.
Yes.
So right now what we're gonna do is we're all gonna 1, 2, 3. Food is served. All right, guys, if I can have your attention this one time while y'all are eating. I'm glad you're eating and getting full, hopefully. So I, as president for the past 4 years of this club, has worked hard, and I want to say a special thank you to Suzanne Gunter, our secretary, and the one who pulls this off, along with many others, every year. And I want to thank our camera recorder, Mr. Jason Gunther. And also, I want to recognize our executive vice president, Wayne Roberts of Camarillo, and our new great VP of Administration, Mr. Damian Mercado.
Yay!
Let's have a round of applause for everyone.
Hey, listen, I have a really important announcement. Some of you don't realize there's food in the dining room too. So there's 2 places with food. So if you didn't know that, a lot of the more substantial things are in the dining room. Okay? And the drinks are over in the other room. That's all I
Thank you
wanted
for the
to say.
announcement, Rick.
Yeah. Yep.
First of all, I want to welcome everyone to the United Democrats. We are people who are always welcoming. And I want to introduce our host. Come on up, host, Mr. Angus Simmons.
Yay! Yay!
Well, thank you and welcome everybody. And Yongping should be down here in a minute. I always like saying welcome with her standing next to me, because if I say something wrong, she can kick me and we can correct it. Yeah, she does it 3 times. But anyway, let me just say, it's wonderful to be here, to be able to welcome all of you here. And some of you know I was a U.S. diplomat and spent 35 years, in the Foreign Service. And, to just give you guys an idea of how some things have changed a little bit. In all my service, the State Department promoted democracy, right? We did human rights reports which included elections on every country in the world where we were serving. We have the Agency for International Development, which provided capacity building and training for parties and election commissions in countries where we wanted to support the idea of free elections. I did that in Kyrgyzstan, and I did it in Afghanistan. And we had the International Republican Institute, and we had the National Democratic Institute. And they were funded through AID, and we supported them in country to give that kind of advice.
It just feels like you're getting paid to do the thing that you love. And that is why I'm a teacher. I am not rich, but I am comfortable because I'm doing the thing that I love. And teaching teachers is the thing that I love almost as much as I love teaching kids. And now I have an opportunity in my work to do that on a much larger level. So when I was a classroom teacher, I'd reach maybe 70 kids every year. Now I'm reaching thousands because of the teachers that I work with. Being a teacher is an important job. Being a teacher is highly, highly, highly undervalued. That is offensive. That is offensive to me. Teachers, we jump through a lot of hoops to become teachers. And I watch every day how my new and pre-service teachers are so excited about being teachers and the work that they're going to do in the classroom. And they get into the classroom and they get no support. They understand that they're not going to have a lot of pay, but they get no support. We have a system where every time our federal government cuts back on funding to our state, the first thing our governors do is to cut education funding, starting with special education. I'm not a special education teacher because that is not my ministry. It is not. It takes a very special person to be able to work with students that teach special needs students. And because it's a specialized field, and you notice the president just sent out his list of professions that are no longer considered professional work. Yep. And teachers and special ed teachers were on that list. The people that are doing the most important work. And when we cut education and we cut funding to special ed, where do people think those kids go?
To prison.
That's what they're hoping. And they go into our general ed classrooms, and the teachers are not prepared to help them. And so those kids fall through the cracks, and that's a travesty. So when we say that education is for all, and we're talking about equity, that is what we should be thinking about. How we fix the system to be equitable for every child in the state of California and the world. How we prepare them for the future, for college, whether they're going to college right out of high school or not, and how we prepare them for their futures, for economic success. How do we get them employed? How do we get them thinking about their place in this world through education? I hope in this race, there are 9 candidates in this race, including myself. I'm hoping in this race that people decide to vote for kids and select the best candidate versus voting out of obligation to make sure that their friends that are terming out of office get a nice comfy seat, because this is not the time. We're in a moment in history. To say that it is unprecedented is not really true because we've been here before. But to say that we're going to continue the status quo and not look out for the least of us is where our problems are. Because history forgotten is doomed to be repeated. We want to stop the status quo. We want change. And in order to get change, we have to vote for the change. I talk my talk, but I walk it. I walk it every day. And again, I am running for this seat because I understand what we need, the change that we need to make in California. Our classrooms are overcrowded. Our teachers aren't making any money. They can't live where they work, and they can't work where they live. You can't expect someone to teach your child when their kids are hungry, when their kids are sick and they can't find childcare that they can afford. We can do better, but to say that we can do better is not enough. We have to take steps to do better. The superintendent of public instruction oversees instruction, curriculum, finance, assessment for TK through 12 education across our state. Not preschool, not adult ed, not community college. The superintendent of public instruction should have some lived experience in our classrooms, not just call themselves an educator. I'm the only candidate in this race that has the lived experience to really make a difference because I'm going to be working with all of you. I don't believe in making decisions in a vacuum. I don't think I know everything. I know that I don't. But I know who I should be talking to to affect the change that we all want to see. So thank you all so much for the opportunity to join you this afternoon. Nichelle Henderson, candidate for State Superintendent of Public Instruction.
Thank you so much. Oh, I should mention she is endorsed by our club, so.
All right, thank you so much. Now I want to say a little something about our club. We are a very open-minded club. We accept all people. And I want to introduce my good friend.
Who's going to get a photo?
After she's done taking a picture.
Thank you. Thank you, Alessandra. I
To
appreciate your
my
indulgence.
good friend Ruth Luevanos, who will beat the crap out of Janice Carvin.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Woo, feliz Cinco de Mayo. Feliz Cinco de Mayo. I just want to thank our wonderful host. Thank you for having us and in your beautiful home. Oh my gosh, I walked in and I already felt so relaxed. Because I am that teacher that Nichelle was talking about. And I just, shameless plug, but I just got to tell you how much I love Nichelle. I met her in Anaheim at the GADM convention. Tried to go to her event, it was crowded, I couldn't get in, and then we were emailing back and forth. I'm like, I support you, Nichelle. And then when I got to go to convention in San Francisco, I was able to vote for her and tell everyone, this is the teacher, vote for the teacher. And I'm a product of Cal State Teach PSM, by the way. I don't know if you know that. But I started as an emergency credential teacher, and Cal State Teach is how I got my teaching credential while I was an emergency credential teacher in 1999. So I have been a teacher for a long time. We have another teacher here, Karen Sherrish, she's going to be up in a minute. So we have a room full of educators here. And the reason why you see educators like me and Karen and Nichelle running is because we know our communities. We've been public servants. We know what it is to work with students, to work with teachers, to work with people from diverse backgrounds, to work with the homeless kids, to work with the foster kids. That's what we do. Every single day we do it. We show up for our kids, for their families, for our communities, and that's what we're doing. That's why we're running for office, because we know how to, we have those skills. We know how to negotiate. We know how to communicate. We know how to advocate. Without resources, without support, we do it. And we've been doing it for years and years in the classrooms every single day. So we also know when there is too much red tape, when money is not going where it needs to go. And we're all about improving outcomes. And that's why we're running for office. That's why I'm running for office. So my name is Ruth Luevanos. I met most of you already, but in case you didn't know that, I'm a teacher, I'm a mom, I'm a small business owner. Yes, I have lots of jobs because teachers, like Nichelle said, don't make enough money. So I've always had 2 or 3 jobs because I can't make enough off of just my teaching job. That's the reality for many teachers. But this job, the job that I'm applying for with the voters, is a full-time position. Let me say that again. County Board of Supervisors is a full-time position with 4 fully paid staff members and $10,000 a month to have offices. And I am saying that not to brag. I hope I get elected, but I am saying it because that means what we should expect from our supervisors is the work of a full-time supervisor with a full-time staff of 4 and 2 offices. And that's not what we're getting in District 4. That's not what we're getting in District 2. And Ashley will be here later to talk about District 2. I expect for us to get the support in our communities, for our businesses, for our healthcare. They need to be doing the research. We're all about data. Teachers, we're always asked about data. We're always asked about improving outcomes for our students. So when I see someone who's being paid as a full-time supervisor with full-time staff, I want to see improved outcomes. I want to know where the money goes, who it's being spent for, how we're improving outcomes, how we are improving healthcare across the county, not shutting it down, improving it, how we're going to save money. All the skills that teachers have are applicable to the positions that we're applying for, that I'm applying for with the voters. I don't represent city managers. I don't represent corporate PACs. I don't represent them. I represent the people. I represent you. That's my job. And it's also my job to listen, to have town halls, to have meet and greets, to be available. One of my dreams, once I get into office, is to have 2 days a week where our office is open 12 to 8. Why? Because every office is open 9 to 5. And when do we go to work? 9 to 5. So how do you get to talk to your supervisor? How do you need help? You don't. You have to take a day off work. Anyone here have extra sick days? Because I don't.
Be talked at.
Yeah. So we need to ensure, and for those who can't make it, have it on Zoom. Okay, have a Zoom meeting, have it online, have it streamlined, make it better, improve it, walk through it, talk to people, listen to business owners. I talked to a business owner who said, you know what, I am losing 4 employees for my business, my HVAC electrician plumbing business, because we don't have the training in East Ventura County for these employees to be plumbers, electricians, to do HVAC, and they're really good paying jobs, straight out of high school, but there's no training here, so I want to start a school. so that I can help train them. A business owner. Why is the county not doing anything to support these guys? To support the youth, the high schoolers I talked to last night at the forum who said, hey, we would love to go to college, but we can't afford it. We need to help our family now. What kind of high-paying jobs can we get? What kind of training can we get so that we can help the businesses in our community? That's what listening does. It solves issues. It makes people feel heard. And then it implements that policy to change people's lives and improve our community, to support small businesses, to support our residents with high-paying jobs, to make sure they have workforce housing that they can afford to live in the community, because then we all benefit. Then we have cleaner air. Those people stay in our community. They spend money in our businesses, and it's a circle, right? It all goes around. That's why educators running for office is really important, because we understand that education is an investment in our community. And I understand that healthcare is an investment in our community. Housing is an investment in our community. Career training is an investment in our community. And we're going to see the results right away. Immediate. We just have to have the courage to do that. And that's why I'm running for office. I know that once we do this, we will all rise together. And I mean all of us. Every single one of us. And that's why I'm running for office. And I was endorsed. Thank you so much. United Dems was my first endorsement from the Dem Club.
It was unanimous.
Yeah, they jumped right in.
Let me mention one more thing. I'm also on the endorsement committee of the Ventura County Democratic Party, and she was also endorsed unanimously by both the committee and the entire Central Committee. Yeah.
So, and I have been on a Central Committee for the past 4 or 6 years. I can remember, yeah, ADEM and then Central Committee, yeah, for 6 years. So, and then I served with Sue on the Resolutions Committee, which I'm still the chair of. So the work continues. Whatever happens, June 2nd in 18 days when my election will take place. So other elections are going to have a primary and a general, not mine. It's 2 candidates. June 2nd, this will be decided. It's already being decided. People are texting me, I already voted for you. I got my ballot. So people already have their ballots. Please encourage them to vote. This one will be a direct impact. It's the first domino to fall.
Which reminds me, I need to vote today.
Yeah, if I get into office, then that's 2 Democrats we have at the Ventura County Board of Supervisors. And once Ashley gets in, that's 3. And then we have a majority.
Yes, ma'am.
Then we make the change.
You're first.
Yeah, but I need your support right now. So whatever you can donate, $5, $20, $100, whatever you can donate. Follow me on social media. Write a letter to the editor. You don't have to live in Simi Valley. I live in Ventura County. Yeah. So please, please follow me on social media. Donate whatever you can. And write those letters to the editor. And let them know that you support this teacher for Ventura County Supervisor.
ma'am.
And thank you so much for having me today.
All right, I'm going to introduce a candidate for the next race, which is the right candidate for this race. And her name is Dr. Karen Scher. And guess
Thank you. Okay. Hi, everyone. For those of you I haven't said hello to yet, because I just came in, I was a little bit late. And I don't want to name drop, but the reason I was late was that a prominent elected Republican approached me in Simi Valley. I went to speak at PolitiFest in Simi Valley. And a prominent elected Republican offered me his endorsement.
Wow.
And I'm just sort of coming into this meeting thinking, public education is the underpinning of our democracy. You hear me say this, I've said this so many times, and I continue to say it. Teachers and school communities make every other profession possible, and every child deserves the opportunity for a powerful future. I'm not going to repeat all the things that Ruth repeated about donating and volunteering and all that, because it all goes for me too. It's for all of us. And in Ventura County, we are really good at electing women. And thank you, especially because of this group. We are really good at electing people of color, people who represent diverse backgrounds, and women. And I am the most qualified person in this race. I just earned my doctorate at the University of Southern California in organizational change and leadership, and I actually wrote my dissertation on the impact of public school teachers who serve on school boards. And I think that would go for any board, right? I know Nichelle serves on the Los Angeles Community College District Board as a teacher leader. Ruth has served on City Council as a teacher leader. And we are also involved in the Democratic Party as teacher leaders. And that has really just, we are a family. We intersect in so many different ways. Someone told me, and I've repeated a couple times, but someone told me the other day that, gosh, Karen, you know, you've been in elected office for 12 years. You lead the largest school district in Ventura County for 12 years. I've had my boots on the ground in classrooms in Ventura County for almost 30 years. And someone told me that I am running for the position that I've been doing for almost 30 years. So I want to thank you for all of your support, especially the Gunthers. I want to give a special shout out to Rick and Sue Gunther, who not only sat on the endorsement committee for the Central Committee and the
And
Dems.
she was endorsed by the Central Committee of Ventura County. That's the Ventura County Democratic Party.
Yes, and thank you. And there has been some opposition. I have caused some feelings over this race, there's no doubt. But this election has not been challenged in 30 years. It has gone from a series of appointments to incumbencies. So instead of the voters, the hundreds and thousands of voters of Ventura County making a decision about who leads public schools, it's been 5 people. 5 people on the Ventura County Board of Education who have placed their friends and their men friends in those positions. I will be the first woman in 100 years to serve in this role for a profession that is predominantly female. And for those of you, I'll end with this, and I know you'll probably have questions, and I'd actually like to take some if there's time. But for those of you that don't know, as of 5 o'clock last night, the current appointed incumbent, Cesar Morales, published a letter on the Ventura County Office of Education website, so you can go look at it right now, where he admitted to misappropriation of taxpayer dollars. I'm not going to call it stealing, because that's a technical term, I guess, but essentially that's what it is.
We're not going to classify it.
We're not going to
He's
classify
acknowledging
it.
something, and we are taking that.
Right, I'm learning how to speak about this, so forgive me, because it just happened at 5 o'clock last night. Well, thank you, I hope so. I'm working hard for every vote, and I am not taking anything for granted. But he has admitted, you can go and look, he wrote a letter saying that he took a stipend without receiving board approval. So the superintendent, by the structure of the VCOE, himself gave himself a bonus of over $17,000 without going to the board first.
What an idiot.
Okay, so and this just happened at 5 o'clock yesterday, and I did the math just to kind of give you a sense of what that means. Because $17,000 means different things to different people. $17,000 for a paraeducator, it would take a paraeducator over 700 hours to make that much money. Going up to our principals, it is more than we pay our principals per month for spending 14 to 15 hours on campuses serving students every single day. $17,000 is the amount that it would cost to provide a bus driver for the mobile library bus that the Ventura County Office of Education and the County Board of Supervisors, this is where we intersect, they have an agreement to provide a mobile library bus for students in our most underserved communities where cuts, right, refining budgets and cutting staff, it has gone to first to librarians. So many schools, even though they might still have a library, don't have librarians. So there's a mobile library bus that the County Board of Supervisors and the Ventura County Office of Education made a pact, they signed a contract for. The part that the Ventura County Office of Education signed on to was to provide a driver. That driver would cost $18,000 a year, and that mobile library bus sits in the parking lot of the Ventura County Board of Supervisors because there's no driver. That $17,000, how is it affecting students, paraeducators, principals, and the mobile library bus driver? All about the same amount, right? I mean, this is unconscionable. This is the most egregious type of violation. Well, not only are we talking about taxpayer dollars, but we're talking about children and our most underserved, underrepresented populations who we know as teachers. I've been a teacher in Oxnard for almost 30 years. I know as a school board trustee for almost 12 that the students who need us the most, who are crying out for us the most, are the hardest to find. And there is no greater advocate, no greater advocate for a child outside of a parent, and very often in the absence of a parent, there is no greater advocate for a child than a teacher. I am a teacher. I also am an administrator statewide. I am also an elected official who's won every single election I've run in, whether it be site rep, state council rep, NEA rep. I'm an executive board member for the 42nd District in the Democratic Party. I have been for 2 terms. I was an ADEM 3 times before that. I was your top vote getter for the National Endorsing Convention to go to Chicago to endorse Kamala, and I was on the governor's slate. And I didn't ask for that. So the Democratic voters in this county know who I am. And my 12 years of public record votes show that I stand with our community, I show up for our community, I mean what I say, I do what I say, and when we talk about what the plans are for the future, I need Ruth. I need Ashley. I need all of the candidates that are running, that are endorsed by the Democratic Party so that we can build housing. We can take down the administrative pay at the Ventura County Office of Education. I need your help. This is not work I can do alone. So I want to thank you for being one of my earliest endorsers. You always have been. And again, to Rick and Sue, who really went out on a limb for me in Conejo Valley.
You were well worth it.
Who really spoke truth to power, and now you're seeing the reality of what I've been up against.
Well, I'm aware of that.
Right? So there's a Good Old Boys Network, and they make a bucket loads of money. And they don't want to give it up. And I'm saying, let's give it to the teachers. Let's give it to the classrooms. Let's keep those dollars as close to the classroom as we can, because I'll end with this as CTA members. We know that teacher working conditions are student learning conditions. And that when we fight, we win. So thank you, everyone, for your time and for being here today. Donate, volunteer, vote for all of us. Tell your friends and family. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think,
Yes.
well, guys, the fact that we have a chance of electing women to office says a lot about our club and how we're very open-minded. You know, my next candidate is Mr. Warbach for City Council of Thousand Oaks. Come on up, buddy.
Thank you, Alessandro. How's everybody doing today? Doing all right?
Good.
Excellent. I want to first start by saying thank you so much to the United Dems for Progress. I'm so grateful for this invitation. I feel a little bit out of water here because I'm not on the ballot until November. So we have some really important races that we're talking about right now, and we must keep our attention on the general in the midterms. So for those of you who I have not met, my name is Kyle Rohrbach, and I am running for Thousand Oaks City Council. We are districted for the second election cycle. I'm running in Bob Engler's district. He is not running for re-election. And I stand in front of you as a lifelong Thousand Oaks resident and Ventura County resident. And I am so excited to be throwing my hat into the ring to join the City Council of Thousand Oaks. I was a product of our local school system, elementary, middle, and high school. And then I had the fortune, after I left and spent some time in New York, to come back to Thousand Oaks and buy a home. And I now am a very proud resident of Thousand Oaks. The reason that I'm running is because I was fortunate to buy that house 10 years ago. If I tried to buy my own house now, with a better job, more developed career, I wouldn't be able to afford it. My own house. I wouldn't be able to live in Thousand Oaks, for that matter, because I couldn't afford it. Thousand Oaks, all the way down into Camarillo and Oxnard, when looked at as a metro region, is the second most unaffordable region in the United States of America. Isn't that wild? And we know that we have to be focused on a vision that's going to help fix that. We have to provide affordable housing options for our residents. We have to provide alternatives to a car-centric city that allows people to provide other modalities of getting around that don't cost as much, particularly as gas prices skyrocket. And we have to be able to support our local economies in ways that we just haven't been looking at. And that's where I think candidates like myself can come in and make a difference. My career is in producing, in unscripted television. I've spent 15 years working in entertainment, and that has really given me a lot of insight, not only to Hollywood and obviously how entertainment works and storytelling, but to project management, budget management, oversight of people, and I think perhaps most importantly, the ability to work with a variety of different people to achieve a single mission, and to make sure that everyone involved is singularly focused on one vision, and that when you have multiple people with different needs, different demands, and you only have so much money and resources, you need someone who's able to bring everybody together and understand where compromise needs to be met and where we need to refocus to make sure that we're all together on the same lane. And that's something I've been doing for my entire professional career. And I'm excited to be able to bring that to City Council. I actually was in front of the United Dems 4 years ago. I ran for City Council. It was back in the at-large days. We've since moved to districts.
Talk about that a little bit when you're done.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Rick said he wants to talk about that when we're done here.
The at-large thing.
The at-large thing.
Very important.
It is.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, so, but I mentioned that because 4 years ago, I came in 4th out of 3 open seats, 10 candidates, 1,400 votes shy. And it proved to me that this campaign, my candidacy, was not only a viable one, but one that people were really interested in, and they wanted to see proven successful. And so now we're back. But in those 4 years, I didn't give up. I didn't go crawl into a corner and pop back up 4 years later. I have since become the vice chair of TO Arts, which is the largest presenting producer of the Bank of America Performing Arts Center. I have been appointed to the Community Funding Review Committee of the City of Thousand Oaks, thanks to Mr. Bob Engler, which I now sit on as chair after serving as vice chair last year. I am in my 14th year as an advisor for the Miller Family Youth and Government program. And I think I've seen a lot of you in probably the next role here. I am one of the co-leaders and co-organizers of Indivisible Conejo. And I mention that because while I think a lot of people understand that some of the mission that we have is to take down the Trump presidency and fight authoritarianism, what we're really doing is fighting for democracy. We're fighting for democratic values. And what we've learned, not just as leaders and organizers, we've learned that as a nation, that democracy starts right here at home. It starts at the local level, which is why I was so grateful that I was invited to speak in front of all of you here today amidst candidates who have an election in 18 days, because in November, I'm going to be at the very bottom of the ballot. And what I posit to you all is that those positions, my position, city council, school board, rec and park, these positions are as important as those at the very top. And so I am asking for all of you to help join me on this journey as we are just kicking off right here and now, and will last all summer long to get us to November 3rd. Because the more folks that we can elect that share our vision of democracy across all levels of government means that we can finally achieve the thing that we've all been hoping for, an actual democratic society. And I know and will commit to all of you here that I am going to do my part in that, both as a candidate and eventually as a city council member. And I know that when I win, when Karen wins, when Ruth wins, when Nichelle wins, when James wins, we're going to be able to all do this together. And so the last thing that I am going to ask of you is, if this is a journey that you are interested in supporting, knowing that many of you are not Thousand Oaks residents, it still matters, because we need a community of leaders who can work together and partner together. I'm going to ask that if this is a journey that you can get behind and join me on, that you support my campaign. Because as I think everybody in this room knows, you're also dialed in. These campaigns require people. They require funds. They require phone calls. They require folks like the Gunthers and Angus and people who are willing to stick their neck out and say, I support you and I am willing to help you get to that final goal. And so I'm asking you for that support today. If you're interested, my campaign manager Megan is here. She's got some literature. My website is kyleforcouncil.com. Really ran with the alliteration there. Kyle, F-O-R, council.com. And I look forward to talking to all of you as this campaign continues. Thank you so much for the invite.
I would like to say something very important. Let me have the mic for a second. Okay, this is very important. City council races in blue cities are often red. They're Republican because the party label doesn't go on the ballot, okay? Thousand Oaks, when it had no districts, was controlled by Republicans until just 2 years ago. And a fella who happens to be in attendance here tonight played a huge role in getting our city to be districted, and his name is Mr. Chase Rashid, and he's right there, okay? He spent a lot of hours, believe me. And what happened then is we elected a Democrat on our city council. Her name is Ty, and we now have a 3-2 majority in the city council, but that's a very precarious lead. You've got to elect Kyle. Kyle will assure, because the person he's replacing is already a Democrat, and he's been with us, he's retiring, and that's Bob Engler, okay? So voting for him would assure that our council is blue, okay? That's extremely important, and I just want you to know it. Also in Camarillo, though that council, I'm not too up on the Camarillo council, but I believe it's also very close in terms of parties, so every vote counts. And by the way, Ty only won by a handful of votes. So it was really, really close in the last election. All right, that's all I wanted to say. Yeah.
Thank you, Rick.
Something that I wanted to say is, again, thank you, Chase and Patricia, for being instrumental in Thousand Oaks politics. Chase was the one who wrote that map, right,
He
Chase?
wrote the map.
You want to come up and explain? Come on, Chase. I'll give you some time.
He turned our council around, you know.
Well, they didn't select the map that I drew because there were a lot of shenanigans with Republicans
They didn't
that
do the whole thing.
were, so they chose a map that they thought would be more effective for them. But what really happened when you look at the precinct votes, it was like a couple of precincts they did that I put in my map, they put on their map. And what happened is they moved the precinct in Thousand Oaks that swung the heaviest to Trump. They moved it out of the district that flipped. They moved it into another district. And if they had chosen my map, that seat would not have flipped. So they actually did me a favor. So it didn't work out the way they wanted to, but yeah, that's what happened.
And you know, the Ty's campaign team in that district walked from door to door. They worked hard to win that district, and they just barely won, but we won, and that was changed the council. It's now 3-2 Democratic.
I just feel led to congratulate all the women out here, because us men, if we would not be here without you women. So I want to take a round of applause for all of you women here.
That's right. Pretty hard to get born without women. Yeah.
And also, Mr. James Forsyth, you're up next.
Alrighty, thank you all. I appreciate it. I appreciate you all inviting me here again. This is probably like the third time I've spoken at the after party, Cinco de Mayo, I believe. So I appreciate you all. I gotta stand in front of the camera. See, I'm a teacher. I like to roam. I'm a roamer. I go in between classrooms. I go in between things like that. So if I'm roaming around, I'm sorry. But my name's James Forsyth, president of Ventura Unified School District. This is my completing my first term, and in 2026, that's when I'm up for re-election. So I currently hold the president position, but I'm also a teacher, and I'm a special ed teacher, and I'm the crazy one. Takes a certain type of person to be special ed, I tell you what.
I don't want you
You want me to go?
this.
No. Okay.
Yeah, don't go
All right,
backwards.
you gotta put X-ray.
Don't go backwards.
Oh yeah. I will definitely go back there. But yeah, I teach special ed. I've been in education for about 15 years. I was actually a paraeducator at Penfield, which is a BCOE school, and it's mod severe. And I'm also a RSP teacher in the Oxnard School District, which is the elementary school district, and I teach middle school. What I'm here today is kind of just give an overview of some of the issues that are facing schools in this county, and some of the things that districts are doing to support that, support our students and support growth. The major issue, the biggest issue we are facing is declining enrollment, and you'll hear it over and over and over again because it is profound. And I'm going to quiz someone over here. One of our, how much do we get per pupil? Do we know? So 20,000, right? And before that, maybe 5 years ago, we were one of the lowest to pay per pupil. California was. Biggest state. We didn't pay as much. So we actually, at the state level, we had increased that to about 21,000 per pupil. However, you would think that would be enough, right? That's going to be enough money for you to grow and to retain teachers and people, but this doesn't. And the reason why is because of declining enrollment. Ventura Unified is about hemorrhaging, I can't speak right now. I'll spit it out. I'll get it there. We are losing, I know, right?
There you go.
We are losing about 300 to 350 students every single year. And what does that equate to? Elementary school. An elementary school full of children are gone. That is a lot of money. So 21,000 times 300. Millions, right? I don't know what it is. But it's millions. And that has a profound effect on our budgets. So what do school districts need to do during this time as we're losing these copious amount of students? I'll get to why we're losing in just a minute, but some of the mitigating things we're doing is teacher reduction, which is really harsh and really traumatic for our staff. Also, we are looking at retaining teachers through workforce housing, which Ventura Unified in Oxnard High School District has been exploring and also are in the works, correct? Oxnard, yeah. And Ventura, we have a bunch of surplus property, and we're in negotiations now to have that workforce housing. What does that mean? That means teachers, paraeducators can have housing here in one of the most expensive counties in California. And that's huge. As a teacher, that is huge for me. That is huge for a paraeducator. As VCOE has about 1,000 employees. Oxnard has about 1,200, 1,600. And that's a lot, and if you add up all the districts, that's a lot of employees, and it's a lot of housing that we need for our staff. So that's one way. And one of the reasons why declining enrollment is happening, you think, well, are they going elsewhere? Where are they going? Where are these kids going? Well, we're not having kids, A. Parents are not having kids, they're delaying having kids until their 30s and now 40s.
Nobody wants to raise a baby in an ADU.
Who wants to raise a baby in an ADU? Who wants to raise a baby in an apartment that costs maybe $3,500 a month? It is insane. You can't raise kids that way. So it encompasses everything, and we have to have the county support, we have to have the city support, we have to have the state support, and developing more and more housing. And that's another reason why we are supporting growth in our student body, is to give families housing, affordable housing through workforce housing. That is the main reason. So I know I'm the last speaker. I don't like to drag. I'm not the last speaker? Oh, man. I usually kind of anchor these things. But I just wanted to say that is the biggest issue, and that's why we're talking about it, because it has such a profound effect on our budgets. And you ask why this district is losing this, and we're losing teachers over here, we're losing this program, we're closing this school, and it has to do with declining enrollment. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, James Forsyth.
Thank you so much, Mr. Forsyth. I want to introduce our hopefully next judge, Mr. Judge Malak.
All right, I will.
I want to thank James and Karen. All right, I want to thank Miss Michelle Henderson. I want to thank Ruth Luevanos. I want to thank Dr. Karen Scher. I want to thank Kyle Warbach. And I want to thank James Forsyth. And I want to thank the judge, Mr. Malak, for coming and joining us. But most importantly, I want to thank Patricia, and I want to thank Chase Rashid of Thousand Oaks for being involved as well. And I want to thank, I'm tired, and I want to thank
Angus Simmons.
Young Ping. And Young Ping. And my club board for putting up with me the past 4 years. I know I have not been an easy president, but the whole point of democracy is, let's say you don't agree of the endorsement of a candidate, that's when we use collective bargaining to come together as United Dems for Progress, right guys and ladies?
That's right.
So I'd like to thank all of the Democrats that are here today, and I want to thank in particular Sue Gunther
Yes.
for putting up with me the past 4 years.
Oh, I love you, Alessandra.
And I love you too. But there's a lady in there called CJ Keaveney, who is the former president of the Women's Club. Let's give CJ Keaveney a round of applause. And thank you for coming to this great event. Now guess what we're going to do? We're going to elect all these Democrats to defeat the Nazi Donald Trump. Thank you for coming today.
And the same to you.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
That's when Alessandra's going to run for Simi Valley City Council.
Hey, can we get all the candidates together by the